Hello. Another in point with Dorin Anghelescu. I know I've been away from this for a while, and I promised more videos would be coming, and they are, and I am back on track now. Helping my aunt and uncle move and preparing to go back to school and everything has taken a bit much of my time. There has been much talk lately about Kim Davis, the Rowan County clerk, who Christians are saying is being persecuted for her faith and her beliefs. Forgive me, dear Lord, for speaking strongly, but I only have one word for this: bullshit. Okay? She is not being persecuted for her beliefs or her faith. She is in jail because she failed to do her job. When you are working for the public sector and you are being paid by the taxpayers, that means you are a public servant. You are free to practice your religion. You are free to have your beliefs. You are free to keep your Bible with you if you want to. But when it comes to serving the public, you serve all of them, including the gay ones, and you obey the law. Okay? Even your Bible says that true Christians obey the law of the land. Okay, well, gay marriage is now the law of the land. All right? Kim Davis is not guilty of being persecuted for her beliefs. If anything, Kim Davis is guilty of not obeying the law and using her position in government to force other people to obey her version of her religion. And this is a constitutional violation. And for those of you who say the Constitution says nothing about separation of church and state, that's bullshit. It does. Okay? It is called the amendment to the Constitution that says the government shall establish no religion. Okay? This means you are free to worship as you choose or not at all. The government cannot establish an official religion or sanctify the establishment of official religion. This is what Kim Davis tried to do, and she failed. And we should be grateful that she failed. We should thank God that she failed. And we should thank God that for the first time in a long time, I hate to say this, but we are seeing more and more evidence of people who I would call evil Christians. Okay, number two, Kim Davis has no moral high ground when she was cheating on her husband with another man who got her knocked up with twins while she was married to another man. Okay, that is a sin. All right? The Bible has over 300 references of abominations about heterosexuality, but only 6 about homosexuality. Does this mean that God favors homosexuals? No, I won't go that far. But let's just say this. Maybe God thinks that you heterosexuals need a hell of a lot more supervision. Okay? Now, for those of you who want to side with Kim Davis, I really don't care for all the name calling, okay? And many times, depending on how the phrase is used, is not name calling, but is actually describing a person or an event. Now, Kim Davis, I'm sorry, but this dingy broad worked awfully hard to earn every name that she has been called. Okay, she is not a martyr. She's a pig. And I am tired of seeing her and other people like her using our faith, my Christian faith, to foment and promote their hate, their ignorance, their bigotry, intolerance, fear, and most of all, their prejudice, and pretend they're not doing it because they're so filled with love. I'm sorry, if you want to be so filled with love, you are not in the slightest bit acting like Christians. Okay? And don't start calling gay people Nazis, all right? Nazism was a right-wing ideology, not a left-wing ideology. And if you Christians want to go protest something, let's hear you get adamant and really annoyed at the 38 million accounts held at ashleymadison.com that turns out recently just included 400 of your pastors and different churches across the country who are anti-gay, who had accounts at Ashley Madison so they could sit there and preach one thing of their holier-than-thou position from the Bible while paying a specialized service that would allow them to sneak around behind their spouse's back so they could cheat. Okay, you have no moral high ground either. Let's hear you go protest that. Okay. Still waiting. I was going to jump on that immediately, but it has been, what now, over a week, a couple weeks? We're still waiting. Okay, we're not hearing anything. And we're probably not going to. If there's one thing that has become clear of all of this, is that you can be washed anew in the blood of Christ. But the blood of Christ is not a strong enough detergent to wash away. You're using our faith for your fear, ignorance, bigotry, hate, and prejudice. And it most certainly is not strong enough to wash away the stench of your hypocrisy. I said it, and I'm not sorry I did. I'm sorry I had to. Okay? God bless all. Bine bun Dumnezeu să binecuvânteze tuturor. Okay. Doamne ajută. A good recommended follow would be Brian Bowen Ministries. Another one, join Faithful America. Join the Christian Left on Facebook. Help us take back our faith from the right. Okay, we are not going to lose this battle. We cannot afford to lose this battle, whether you are Christian or not. We cannot afford to cave and lose this battle by the right continuing to pervert the use of our faith and turn it into a feared mechanism and a mechanism to actually legally discriminate and be prejudiced against anyone. If you actually start with gay people, where does this end? And before Christians say that, well, the same applies to us, we're being persecuted for our beliefs. No, you're not. You are being persecuted for your bigotry. Okay? If you want to stop being persecuted for it, or let's just say even called out on it, because you're not being persecuted. Okay? Persecuted is when you actually have people, oh, I don't know, like maybe a whole race of people who, I don't know, let's just say, happen to be white, that belong to groups that are Christian in nature, like the Ku Klux Klan, that thought that black and brown people looked much better hanging from a rope out of trees. Okay, that's called persecution. When you actually have a young man who is being beaten to death by two men who are now serving life sentences in McNeil Island Penitentiary in Washington State, who claim they did it for God. Okay, that is persecution. When you actually have your American pastors flying to places like Uganda, to where they now take young men out and they pour diesel fuel on them and set them on fire and burn them alive, that is persecution. You are not being persecuted. You're being called out on your hypocrisy, and you don't like it. I don't blame you for not liking it. The thing is that homosexuality exists in nature, but bigotry, hate, fear, intolerance, ignorance, and prejudice is only found in one species, and that one species is man. And man's inhumanity to man is the biggest crime against nature and the biggest crime against Christ. You people who want to say that homosexuals, you cannot be gay and Christian, I'm sorry, is bullshit. Okay, I am gay and I am Christian. And I am more convinced than ever that not only are there people such as evil Christians, but I am more convinced than ever that Christ, when he walked into the temple and he flipped over tables and he threw people out and he threw out the money changers, that he was actually throwing out the rich people who refused to help the poor, and the bigots who use their faith to discriminate against others. Like you people who are doing it. Now, have a happy Labor Day weekend. I'm sure I'll make another one of these. God bless all. No apta bona. Dumnezeu mă protejeze de urmașii și idioturi de dumneavoastră. Vă rog. Vă mulțumim. Good night.